You're on.
All right. Okay. I did some research and I found this old article about your road trip in the motorhome to Alaska with your family.
Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness, yeah.
So,
You really did some
Yeah.
research.
Where did you get that?
I think it was in the Chicago Tribune.
It was in the Chicago
I think.
Yeah, that's what Bill wrote. Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah.
So I was kind of curious what was their reason for wanting to do that story? And then it seems like family is clearly very important to you. So is that why you named your prairies after your grandchildren as well?
Repeat that.
Can you just talk about the role of family?
Family, okay, yeah.
It seems to be a big theme
Sure.
in everything you're doing here.
Sure, okay. Well, let's see. As part of my doctoral research, did a lot of field work, a lot of field collecting. And one year, went down the Mississippi Valley, all the way to New Orleans, over to Florida, and then up to the Appalachian Mountains. So I spent, I don't know, over a month, myself and another researcher, collecting. And then the next summer, Dottie and I and our little daughter went down the coast all the way to Southern California, and then through the Rocky Mountains, and then up the Rocky Mountains back up to Vancouver. And in the third collecting trip was from Vancouver. We sailed from Vancouver Island up to Alaska and all through Alaska and through Denali and drove back. And then I finished and graduated and we drove home. So I've been to Alaska. So now we've got a son that was 16 and Amy was 18, a couple of teenagers. And we had this property here, so that was after 1984. And we said, well, we need to make an excursion. So we're gonna drive to Alaska, a big adventure. And it was a wonderful adventure. A lot of the Alaska highway was not paved yet. There were still unpaved sections.
This is the Alcan you're talking about?
Yes.
I've driven that myself, and it was paved, all paved.
Well, the Alaska Highway was built by the U.S. government through Canada, by the Army, during the war. So they built it as fast as possible. So a lot of the places, they kind of went up valleys and down valleys and back and forth. Well, now what they're trying to do is build bridges and make it a little safer. So it's a lot of construction, just amazing construction, mud. And anyhow, with the four of us, plus Amy and Brian's nephew, and Brian was about my size, and Greg was about my size, and Amy's taller than Dottie, so there were 5 big people in this little van. But you know, all you do is drive and sleep in it. The rest of the time we were outside hiking. And in fact, that year was the same day, same time, as the big airplane crash in Sioux City.
Oh.
Brian and I were down in a pond, swimming around, looking at frogs and dragonflies, and this helicopter flies over. Well, that's interesting. A little while later, another helicopter. Something happened. Something big happened. And yeah, so that was the crash. The next day was when Greg was supposed to fly into Sioux City. Well, he couldn't even get to the airport. I mean, there was emergency and all that, but they did. He landed, they dumped him off somewhere, and all the luggage was out there. And then the next day we left to Alaska. So that was quite an experience coming in. Yeah, so field trips, maybe taking students on field trips to like the Smoky Mountains and to the Wind River Mountains in Wyoming. Then when the kids got old enough, then we would take Amy and Brian. They were just, you know, baggage that came along. They were great.
With your students, on your student trips?
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, they didn't interfere with, you know, this is a class. I'm the prof, and Dottie, of course, was a wonderful chaperone for the students. She was very important, and the little kids were no problem. So they got experience of hiking in the outdoors and sleeping in a tent when they were young, and associating with college students. I'm sure that didn't hurt them at all. They were, you know, associated with mature students that they weren't there to goof around. Yeah, so we've traveled a bit with the kids.
That's my plan as well, to do awesome trips, take my family with me, take
Yeah,
students.
and
It's
you
like,
don't have to stay at fancy resorts.
that's right.
I mean, our kids never were in a motel until they were, I think Amy was in high school. I mean, we'd always camp in tents.
We just bought our 4 and 2-year-old. That was their Christmas present. Was their first tent.
Oh,
Their
fun.
first 2-man tent.
Oh, fun. Did you get them sleeping bags too?
They already had the sleep. We've got that already. But
Oh,
now,
good.
and we've done tent camping when we're all together. But we got them their own tent. And
One of the best experiences though we had was when we went backpacking in the Wind Rivers, because you had whatever you were going to take with you, you had to carry it.
mm-hmm.
And man, you learn to pack really, and even to this day, neither one of us takes much on a trip.
Have you ever read Bill Bryson's A Walk in the Woods when he talks about the Appalachian Trail?
Sure.
That funny part at the beginning when he's walking around, he's talking about like being a fat guy and he's throwing all the stuff
Yeah.
off the trail, off his bags. He knows he can't carry it with him. I've done some backpacking in the Wind Rivers too. It's an amazing place.
It's better than Wild. Did you see the movie Wild?
Oh no, I haven't seen it. No,
Oh, you read the book?
parts of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good book.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie follows it, but I was
That's
expecting
Pacific
to
Crest
see
Trail, though, right?
Yeah.
more spectacular scenery. And most of it is her trudging along.
Mhm.
The book is better, but it was okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to read the book before you see the movie, but
Yeah,
Like
it's
most
always that way.
that's most of
Yeah.
it.
Oh, you want to hit the?